Meredith, originally from Belfast, now living in London. I was one of the writers on both Arrivals 1 and Arrivals 2, and I've done a little bit of work in theatre, short stories, poetry, things like that. My major memories of working with Arrivals was initially fear, because as a writer you tend to do a lot of things individually on your own, and then working with a large group of other writers, having the actors involved, having a dramaturg and Andrea as the director, and then having people from the community all in doing all these exercises to get you loosened up and stuff like that. I was terrified. I was completely out of my comfort zone, and then seeing how they were useful to me when it came to actually working with the other participants and writing the drafts and things like that. It was such a valuable lesson about being able to work as a team and as a wider community to actually get artistic work together. So that's one of the major memories, one of the major things I learned from Arrivals. But working for them over those first two Arrivals projects was a fantastic experience. I learned a hell of a lot, met some really great and really talented people, and I just felt an immense feeling of pride to be involved in intercultural work. I think Terra Nova Productions is really important, the work they do, because for many years or many generations, Northern Ireland seemed to be stuck in aspic. There wasn't a lot of multiculturalism, or those who from other cultures who did live in Northern Ireland or brought up were mostly ignored, because people just featured, especially when it comes to the electorate, on sort of like nationalists and unionists, and now in the last couple of generations, Northern Ireland has become a much more multicultural place. And oftentimes that hasn't been reflected in its artistic and promotions, and especially in theatre. Northern Ireland, like the rest of Ireland and Great Britain, does seem to be very much a middle class place, which then does make it quite narrow focused on a certain proportion of the population. But what Terra Nova does, and what it began many years ago and is now continuing, going from strength to strength, is making intercultural and multicultural work which reflects the growing community in Northern Ireland and the changing community in Northern Ireland as well. And I think that should be important for all artistic practices, but and Terra Nova, I believe, is leading the way in that. The main thing I learned in terms of taking it away initially from the artistic process was, you grow up and you feel you're quite liberal, and sort of like you have an understanding of other cultures and what other people go through. But those initial workshops and hearing people's stories from various sort of backgrounds from around the world, and the journeys they made, oftentimes difficult, to get to settle in Northern Ireland, was really eye-opening and really humbling as well, to see what those people had gone through and the way they were determined to build a new life in Northern Ireland, and the pride they took of living in Northern Ireland and wanting to be part of the community. So that was really inspiring, I have to say. And the artistic front of it, was working with Terra Nova Productions, showed me the sort of like, not all my art or my personal art had to come from personal experience. Being able to listen, learn from other people's experiences, having empathy, having an understanding of all sides of a problem or an issue, only helped me grow as an artist and a writer. And it's something as I said before, I'm really glad to have had that experience with Terra Nova Productions and the Arrivals program. Something I look back with a great deal of fondness and also pride of being involved in. I think what without Terra Nova Productions, what the artistic landscape in Northern Ireland would be very pale in more ways than one. I think they've brought a richness, they've brought the full range of the community in Northern Ireland into the artistic process, which, as I've mentioned before, I think has been quite lacking over the generations. And now it's hopefully more forefront in the thoughts of people who are giving funding and promoting and putting on theatrical work in Northern Ireland, and the wider I know Terra Nova does outreach work as well throughout the rest of Ireland and Britain as well. So I think connecting Northern Ireland to the rest of Ireland and Britain and the changes that they're going through and the challenges they still face with racism and sort of I think that is really important that Terra Nova is there, because it's a good bridge throughout the whole community to express that work and look at the challenges still facing us as a growing nation, as we still continue to be. Three words I would think Terra Nova Productions embody for me is connection, community, and hope.